What is going on, guys? We're back. I'm John.
It's Peter. What's up?
Peter with the Philly Dogs. We're back after a 2 week hiatus. Sorry, files got corrupted. Files got corrupted. I was in Mexico. You know, bad job by us, but
It
we're
happens. It happens.
it happens. We're back. It's life. Today, quick, like probably. I always say this, but actually, 45-minute podcast today. I feel like I always say this every time, and it goes like an hour. Uh, Sorry for if my voice sounds stuffy. I'm a little sick. Uh, but 45-minute pod, probably just covering Eagles, Sixers, since those are the two really big things right now. Flyers are kind of dying off a little bit, and Philly spring training is still happening for another 2 weeks or so.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's just jump right into start off with the Eagles today. The Eagles have been very heavy in free agency. Peter, um, how would you grade Howie Roseman's offseason so far before the draft?
Before the draft, I'd give it like a B plus A
That's what I'm thinking, B plus.
because it's not like it's a real I think they've done really, really well, but there's definitely some stuff that could come and bite them in the ass later. Um,
I agree.
but I'd give him a B plus. What about you?
I would give him a B plus too because um he addressed linebacker, even though it's not the best linebacker. He addressed linebacker with the Saints guy, Zach
And Devin
Vaughn
White.
and
Yeah.
Devin White. He addressed I guess offensive line depth with the Falcons
Matt
guard
Hennessy,
Matt
former
Hennessy.
former Temple guy.
Yeah. So he got a wide receiver three. Now it's Devontae Parker. I don't know how good he's going to be for us.
Yeah, I personally think that that's just like a
Now,
shot.
mind you, he can't be worse than Quez Watkins. So
I
there's
don't know,
that.
man. That's true. Honestly, that's
Dude,
true. But
there's absolutely no chance he could be worse than Quez.
yeah, I mean, maybe they'll keep like Zacchaeus or something. I mean,
I
Zacchaeus
love
is
Zacchaeus. Yeah, in the RPO game, he felt like Zach Pascal to me from last year.
yeah, like he wasn't
Um,
horrible. Maybe they'll keep him, and then Parker can be like a Julio Jones.
yeah, like a
Yeah,
physical receiver that comes in like 30% of the game.
yeah,
And then obviously our two biggest signings, Saquon Barkley, which was huge, and CJ Gardner-Johnson. Now, Peter, do you
and
think,
Bryce Huff, and Bryce Huff.
and
That
Bryce Huff, I don't know how I missed Bryce Huff. Do you think that we overpaid for Saquon, giving him 12 a year?
I mean, that's really tough. But
I mean,
looking at
it's
it,
Saquon, so
it is Saquon, and knowing Howie, I don't think that the cap hit is going to be that bad
mhm.
compared to how much he's worth. And I think if you look at guys like Christian McCaffrey, I think that he could be like insane. I think he could do something like that for the Eagles because behind that great offensive line.
Yeah.
I know that it's hard to say how good the O line is going to be
Yeah, with
because
the loss of Kelsey.
with the loss of Kelsey, but I'm going to say they're still probably going to be pretty good.
Yeah, I'd say they're probably still top five. I mean, they still have Lane, and my Lottie needs to have a better year, but he's fine.
He's still
Um,
really good. I
he's
mean,
still
him, my
good.
lot of Jurgens is good, and
Jurgens is all
Dickerson is
Jurgens
really
all
good.
right. Dickerson's good. Like Dickerson's really good.
Yeah,
Um, I don't know what they're gonna do. I don't know if they're gonna move. I think everyone's assuming they're gonna move Jurgens over to his original position of center,
yeah, and
and
then
then
throw Steen.
Steen or Hennessy at right guard. Like
Yeah,
that's such a funny name. Matt
dude, for
Henney,
dude,
Matt
I remember
Henney.
when he was at Temple, and it was like he was like the best player on the team when he was
Is
here.
such a funny name. But I think also everyone's like Saquon is injury prone. Saquon is injury prone. He's played 13 games a year. Minus the
Yeah,
1 year that he tore his ACL. He's played 13 games a year.
yeah,
So if you're gonna call him injury prone, you gotta call guys like DeAndre Swift and um even Derrick Henry because they've played almost the same
yeah,
amount of games since 2019, all of them. So I think
yeah,
that's a great signing. Got him on a good year, 3 years with an opt out before the third year. That's fine. And then
yeah,
obviously CJ Gardner Johnson. I feel like that's what we missed. Not him, but like that personality and swagger and cockiness and attitude.
yeah,
We had none of we've said this multiple times. The defense was so soft. Physically and mentally, they were both soft. And we saw that in the
yeah.
Niners game when they literally pregame bitched. Sorry for my language, but bitched James Bradbury. And not one single person did anything about it. So I feel like that's a great signing. Um,
Yeah.
how he made up for his, mistake last year of letting him go. Although we did have good safety play last year, I think, and also, which is crazy, CJ Gardner-Johnson is listed as a corner on the depth chart right now. So that's huge because if we can slide him to nickel and play him at corner sometimes, we don't really need to worry
Yeah.
about like I guess Josh Jobe and Eli Ricks playing man-to-man defense on CeeDee Lamb in the slot or someone like that. So how would you if you were Vic Fangio, how would you use CJ Gardner-Johnson? Would you play him more at nickel? Would you play him at his natural position, or would you play him like in the box as safety?
I mean, I would probably play him at safety, but I mean, with the NFL now, I mean, they play two safety high pretty
Yeah,
much the whole game. But if they're going to play one safety high, I'd probably throw Blankenship at the safety high and CJ, just keep him on the field, throw him at
yeah, put him
nickel.
box.
I think
And
he's good enough to do that. I mean, I know the big thing with him is he's been injury prone. Like he only played 3 regular season games last year.
yeah,
But these are freak injuries. Like he tore his pec in
yeah,
week 2 last year, and then during the 2022 with the Eagles, he lacerated his kidney.
yeah. Like
So
that.
like
Come on, dude.
those are Joel Embiid type injuries. Like
Yeah,
those are like some
like
crazy
you don't
stuff.
ever see a lacerated kidney in the NFL.
Yeah,
Like that's just one thing you
some
don't see.
some
But
unlucky stuff.
especially in the
So
Fangio scheme, it's gonna be cool to see what he does because I'm I saw a report. I know we already restructured Sweat. I saw a
yeah.
report that we're extending Hassan Reddick for 2 years potentially.
Oh,
So
who reported that? Who reported that?
I don't it was a credible source. I don't know. I need to
Okay,
find it, but
it was
it
an
was
actual
it
Eagles
was an
reporter.
actual
It
source.
wasn't like
Yeah.
Eagles Nation.
No, no, no. It was actual like girl. It was a girl who had like 120,000, like a girl NFL reporter. It wasn't like she wasn't like
Okay.
verified or anything, but it's kind of like a West Steinberg for
Gotcha,
the
gotcha. All
like
right,
that.
no, I'll take that. I
So
think the big thing is with Huff coming in because Bryce Huff. I know we're probably gonna move to this, but Bryce Huff had the highest uh
passer
rush
rating or
percentage,
rush rating. Yeah.
yeah, out of anybody, like pressure rating. But he also only played like 46% of the snaps.
And he was
So
very, very weak against the run. That's one thing I really
yeah,
noticed. So I mean, I don't really mind that because we have those interior guys like Jordan Davis, who is a great run stuffer, and Jalen Carter, who can, stuff the run too. That's fine. He's big. But
yeah.
Jordan Davis you can bring Nolan Smith on the field. Like, that's what I love about our defensive line this year now. We have so much versatility with the edge rushers. Nolan Smith, Josh Sweat, and then the other side, Hassan Reddick and Bryce Huff. Like, that's a
But the
lethal
only thing
edge.
is, I feel like when you're looking at that, is those are three strictly like pass rushers, I
Yeah.
think. But I do think it'll be good. I mean, they do still have Brandon Graham.
I
But I
mean,
do think that was a bit of an issue last year, is they just had like Sweat and Reddick only wanted to pass rush. And when they couldn't stop the run, it was an issue for them
yeah.
to stop the run.
And
Because
especially when you're dropping
Reddick's
Reddick into pass coverage too, like that's
yes,
not helping
yeah.
anyone.
Like Reddick is small, so like I think he's a great player, but he's also like undersized, so he's not
Yeah.
going to be elite against the run. And I think that's a like Huff is kind of in that same ilk, but he's an amazing pass rusher. Like all he really did last year was pass rush.
hmm
He was insane though at that. So maybe if he comes in and he ticks up his percentage of snaps to like maybe like 50% of snaps from like
I mean, that'd
40
be
to
fine.
50.
I'd be fine with 50-55. Like,
Yeah, and then he can still get to the quarterback. I still think that deal is worth it, but at the
mhm.
same time, they're paying him $51 million. And I don't
Was
know
it
if
three years, right? Yeah. So
yeah, 3 years, 51 million. Hopefully, if he can get 10 sacks a year, that's worth it.
yeah, and he's going to a defense that is like known to like this defense for the past ever since I've been watching for the last 7-8 years, we've always had a good D line. Like
Yeah,
always, that's the one thing that's always been here. So and they Howie's always put a strong emphasis on the trenches, whether it's offense or defense, in the draft, in free agency. He loves it. He loves his skill positions too, but I'm saying he always puts the emphasis on depth because there's a
yeah.
lot of injuries that always take place. So I think that yeah, he did great in New York, but now if we keep Hassan, now you have Sweat, Hassan, Davis, and Carter, and then you can rotate guys like Huff with Hassan in. You're not gonna be able to double team guys. Like it's literally going to be
Yeah.
impossible to double team because
And
there's
Nolan
so much.
Smith coming in. Hopefully, Nolan
Yeah,
Smith is
Nolan
better.
Smith needs a better year. He was fine. Like it's his first year. I'm not really sweating it, but
Yeah.
like there's so much versatility and so much elite I guess defensive line play that you
Yeah,
can't double team guys like Jalen Carter anymore. And I need Jordan Davis to actually give some effort this year, and that's
gotta
why I
get in shape.
trusted it. What's his name? Who
Baldy.
reported it? Yeah, that's Brian Baldy. That's why I trusted it because anything that he says, it's like okay, it's legit.
Yeah,
So I went back, I watched the all 22 on NFL Plus. Really, just wasn't given 110%, I guess, if you want to put it that way. But
yeah,
I'm also not really worried about the line this year because we're actually, even if we don't get to the quarterback crazy, we have good enough linebackers this year. We're not putting out
yeah.
Nicholas Moreau and Christian Ellis, in
But
some
at the
games.
same time, I still don't think that the linebackers are really up to par. I know Devin
Listen,
White.
listen. I'm a huge Devin White guy. I
Yeah,
love Devin White. I think Devin White has been given such a bad rep because of his contract situation last year. I get what PFF says. He's bad in pass coverage. If you watch him play, he's a fast, physical, run to the ball type of guy. I mean, linebackers are I think there might be three linebackers in the league that can run with a receiver or a tight end and stick them the entire way, and one of them
yeah,
being like Fred Warner. So, but Devin White, in my opinion, is what this team has, been missing for 2, 3 years now. I get TJ Edwards was a good like Mike, but he wasn't physically dumb. Like he wasn't physically anything great, like anything special. He was
yeah,
like a normal average size linebacker. Devin White is fast. He's young. He has experience. He's won a Super Bowl. He's got an interception in the Super Bowl, so he knows
yeah.
how to perform. I know some guys aren't high on him, but I think that was my number two linebacker that I wanted.
Really.
I either wanted Queen or him, and then after them it was Drew Tranquil who signed really early on.
Yeah, he
But
signed. He signed like immediately. I
yeah,
mean,
I don't
see,
blame him. It's
like
the Chiefs.
he cannot be worse than like those guys. Maybe they'll bring back Zach
Exactly.
Cunningham on like a 1 year deal. He
I
was
wouldn't
okay.
mind that. He was great last year, like for
Um,
the what we had him in,
hopefully N'Kobe Dean comes back healthy and
and
can
actually
actually
playing
play.
fine. Like
Yeah. Um,
I don't think
but
I'm like
I
I'm almost
still think they got to draft somebody.
yeah I'm this close on giving up on Kobe because can't stay on the field. When he is on the field, he makes boneheaded plays. Like it just he's not what we all going into this year or going into last year. This time last year, we're like, okay, like it's fine. Like we can lose TJ Edwards. We have N'Kobe Dean. Like because N'Kobe
Yeah.
played great in garbage time when we put him in last year or 2 years ago. But yeah, I mean, if he can come back and stay healthy and be a good rotation guy, that's fine. But I just don't. I think he's undersized. Like he's
But who do
really.
you think is going to be the other guy next to him then? Bond?
I think it's
Bond's
gonna
not
be
a starter.
Bond. He's
Bond's
not,
not
but
a
I think
starter
it's
though.
gonna be Bond. I think it's
You
gonna
really
be
do.
it's gonna be Bond or it's gonna be. I think we might get. I love Zach Cunningham, dude. He played so good last year. Like
I just don't think either of those guys are better than N'Kobe Dean. I know N'Kobe Dean wasn't that good, but
it's gonna.
look,
I don't know how what Fangio's gonna do. Like it's gonna be so weird.
yeah,
How what does Fangio play? What 4-3, right?
I think so.
I
Yeah,
think it's 4-3. So
yeah,
it's we Eagles. My entire life have ran 3-4. So it's gonna be a little different seeing us like we're gonna see Hassan Reddick drop into pass coverage a lot, which sucks because it's anytime I see that I scream at the TV, what are we doing? But I just gotta trust it because it's Fangio.
yeah,
It's not a
yeah.
Fangio disciple, it's actually Fangio
Thank you. Yeah,
himself.
you got it.
So yeah.
I think with Bond though, like Bond is, I think one of those guys that you put on the edge that goes into coverage because he was known as a guy. He's an on and off ball linebacker, but
Mhm.
he's he got sacks. Like he plays on the edge. But he started 6 games with New Orleans last year.
Yeah, and they were
Um,
very hurt last year too. They were one of the most banged up teams in the league.
and so like I mean, he had 88 tackles over 62 games in 4 seasons. And he played in 4 seasons. He only started 14 games. Um, and he was primarily a special teams player. Um, so hopefully he can be more than that, but I don't think he's going to be better than N'Kobe Dean. Hopefully I mean, maybe though.
Hopefully N'Kobe's better than him. N'Kobe should be better than him. Like on paper, he should be better than Zach Bond. But he has to stay on the field. He gets hurt every single time he gets in
Yeah,
the freaking field. He gets hurt.
he really does.
It's
He's
every
very
time, like for the last 2 years. I don't know. He like came back after like a 5 week injury last year, and I was like, okay, like we got Kobe back, and then it's kind of like the Rocco situation or the Anthony Melton situation for the Sixers. You come
yeah.
back first game, you get hurt, and boom, you're done. So
Uh, Yeah.
It's so tough right now because right, I'm looking at a report right now. It says the Eagles have $38 million in cap space. There's no way.
Right now,
That's what someone just said.
it's the restructuring, man. It's the restructuring.
Someone said, dude, how did the Eagles have 40 million after Hurts, Saquon, AJ Brown, and Huff contract this year? What in the black magic is going on there? So
Hey, man,
I think we probably have 10 to 15. Like realistically, we probably
spend.
have 10 to 15. And I would take that 15, 12 to
Like
15,
I know who you're gonna say.
Justin Simmons.
Yep. That's what I
Yeah,
was gonna
it's
say.
a need. I like Reed. Reed would be so much better if he wasn't playing the entire game and played like 50% of the snaps.
Or you could play CJ Gardner Johnson in the slot.
Yeah, that I mean that too, but I think I would go get Justin Simmons. I
If
th
it's possible, I would do it.
he's played the Fangio scheme for multiple years. He's a good ball hawk. Like Reed is great at I guess flying to the ball, but
Yeah.
Justin Simmons just has a nose for playing
Yeah.
the deep third.
They're definitely different players because I
Yes.
feel like Reed is more of like a come down. He's gonna hit.
Yeah.
He's a
I
good
guess
run stopper from
like
the
a run,
safety
yeah, like a
position.
run support safety, like a
Yeah,
great run
he's a
support
good
safety.
tackler. And he's pretty good in coverage,
Like
but
he's all right. Like
he's not
he's
he's not great in coverage.
whereas like Justin Simmons isn't really good in the run. He's strictly like
Yeah.
that deep third, good pass coverage guy.
He's an elite safety. Like he's been an
He's
elite
a
safety
top
for
three free
years.
safety, in my
Yeah. We'll
opinion.
see. I mean, he's a little bit how old is he now?
He's 31, 32.
So he's getting a little bit older.
I
I'd
feel like it
still
doesn't
like
matter with safeties though. It's not like corners
yeah.
where like I mean yeah, he's 30. So I mean
Yeah.
he's turning 31, I think.
So I mean, I definitely
Yeah.
like that, but I feel like a big thing is I don't think I'd want to see them sign him to a long term deal, maybe
Two,
two,
three
three
years.
years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
2, 3 years max, 12, 15 a year with like incentives. I mean, listen, he got second team all pro this year. So
Yeah.
he still has a lot left in the tank, like for a
He's
couple of years.
especially on that
Um
trash team. That team is trash. They only
yeah,
had the defense, and Justin Simmons is the bright spot of that defense.
I mean, I'm reading it now. Last year he had 70 tackles, which is for a safety, that's a good amount. Um, 3 picks. He had 6 the year before, 5 the year before. So like he gets his interceptions, 8 pass deflections. So
Yeah,
like he's
that's
good in coverage. Um, I don't know. I think I would do it. I know Howie is like reluctant to spend more money right now because so you got to re-sign Devontae.
that's huge.
You got to
That's huge.
pay AJ in 2 years. You got to pay Goddard. Um,
But at the
Sweat.
same time, you got to win now. Like you
This is
have
the
all these
year.
guys under
I
contract now.
I feel like this is the year, like 2022, where we're kind of going all in. Like we're spending a shit ton of money in free agency. We're
Yeah,
going all in. We this is the best roster we've had since that 2022 team. I put this roster up minus linebacker. I put both these teams up against each other.
yeah.
Um, and compare. I mean, I think this team already is better than 2017's like skill position and
Oh
I mean,
yeah. Oh yeah.
I guess head to head, put
But
everyone
they
up
were
against
just
each
elite in
other.
the trend. In 2017,
Exactly.
our team was
And we
elite in
also
the
had like
trenches.
devil magic going on.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So, but yeah, I think I'd put this team up with 2022, and I think we have better coaching than 2022. I like Shane, but I think Kellen Moore brings a different type of offense in the versatility and the routes that he like his receivers run. It's not
Yeah.
just traditional out like you have like post, corner, slant, flat. Like he runs like these weird concepts where like Keenan Allen will start here, motion here, run this. Like it's a little weird,
Yeah.
but he'll run like this. He's a
Gets everybody
creative,
open.
yeah, he's a creative genius. And at the same time, he will go into that like wide receiver screen to
Yeah.
Devontae with
Speaking of offense, what's your opinion on Kenny Pickett?
no, I don't
We
like it.
didn't. I know
I don't like
we
it.
haven't talked about it yet.
I don't like it.
You don't like Kenny?
I texted you yesterday, Kenny Pickett
Yeah.
with 2 crying emojis.
Yeah.
Um, third round. I mean, I know we got 120 back. I know we got a fourth round pick, but giving up a third round pick and two sevens doesn't mean anything. But so you're giving up three
That don't matter.
picks for Kenny Pickett?
So what I heard they were talking about this on the radio, so obviously take it for a grain of salt. But
So
uh
it's 94 WP. So
yeah. But it was like maybe he comes in here, he plays well in garbage time, and then you trade him for like a third round pick later. You trade him for a second, third round pick later, and then you recoup the value, and you have Hurts insurance because Kenny Pickett obviously sucked last year, but I think he's a good backup. He's a
Yeah,
good
he's a good
backup.
backup, but if Hurts goes down like he did in 2021 or 2022, and Minshew came in for the two games against Dallas and against New Orleans, and we lost
Yeah,
both games. If something like that happens this year, say we're for instance we're 10-3, 10-4, with
yeah.
3 games left, and you have 1 game lead over Dallas. This is like crazy, but you have like a 1 game lead over Dallas, and like you're like tied with the Niners for the 1 seed. Are we trusting Kenny Pickett to win 3 games in a row?
Okay, okay. I don't think that you should really be expecting him to come in and do that. But
I think you have to because of Hurts's injury history. Hurts gets injured towards the
yeah,
end of the year. He never gets hurt in the beginning of the year. Like that's Dak. Dak gets hurt at the beginning of the year almost every season. But
okay.
Hurts gets hurt. Hurts gets hurt. Hurts gets hurt at the end of the year. And we have guys like look at the Niners game. Hurts got hurt when we were down like 30 and then Mariota came in. And on the first play of the game, Mariota got -3 yards rushing and then threw a pick the very next play. So like
Yeah.
it needs to be someone that is an NFL level quarterback. And is
I
Kenny
think that
Pickett
he's
an NFL level quarterback? I don't know.
I think he's better than Mariota. I think
Oh,
he's definitely
100%.
better than Mariota. Um, but looking at it, I mean, just comparing Minshew's stats to Pickett, um, obviously looking at this, Pickett played with possibly the worst offensive coordinator of all
Not
time.
Canada. Yeah.
Literally like the worst
Don't
of all
know.
time.
Don't know how he still has a job. That's insane.
So it was crazy. But so in 2020, his year before he came to Philly, Minshew had 16 touchdowns and 5 picks. In his rookie year, he had 21 touchdowns and 6 picks. But at the time he was had 16 touchdowns, 5 picks. They were 1-7.
Hmm.
That doesn't matter. We'll just listen to the touchdowns, interceptions.
Yeah.
Pickett had isn't this crazy? 6 touchdowns and 4 interceptions in 12 games, which is like nothing. Um,
Imagine if like Jalen did that here and then what the media would say,
oh
dude.
my God. Oh my God. He threw for 2,000 yards. So I think that he can come in and be maybe productive. I mean, we'll see how he looks in the preseason. I think he'll be a good backup here. Um, because I think that Howie definitely puts stock in that position. And I
It's
think
just
Pickett
crazy
come
because you look at the games that Pickett played last year, and these are the defenses that he went up against in this little stretch where he had 1 touchdown.
yeah.
Arizona, which they had it all right. Like they were just flying around. Like their defense was not good. They were just flying
Yeah.
around.
Yeah.
Cincinnati, nothing crazy. Like
Yeah.
Cleveland, good defense. That's a great defense. Green Bay, nothing crazy. Tennessee, nothing. No. Jacksonville, no. And in all those games, now that was his one, two, three, four, five, six. Those 6 games were his last 6 games that he played of the season because he was inactive with an injury and then he didn't play the last game of the year. 10 of 16 against Jacksonville, 73 yards, 0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. They lost 10-20. 1 touchdown against Tennessee, 0 against Green Bay, 0 against Cleveland, 0 against Cincinnati, 0 against Arizona. His last, no, my bad. One, two, three, four, five, six. His last 7 games of the year, he had 1 touchdown combined.
It's
Come
pretty
on.
bad.
Pretty
It's
bad.
pretty bad.
That's like the worst in the league. If you put a starting quarterback the last 7 games of the year, he's going to have more than like 3 or 4 touchdowns.
Okay, okay. To be fair, uh Matt can't like the offense. If you watch them play,
Oh,
like
it was atrocious. Like
I
it
don't think
was.
that it was necessarily all of Kenny's fault. I know that he was bad. He was
You
bad.
can't. But you can't tell me that you can't get 1 touchdown a game in a bad offense.
No, no,
Like,
no. You're right. But like that the offense that they were running was so terrible. I
yeah,
mean,
it
they
was pretty brutal.
they were relying it was like screens. They would run the ball with Najee Harris, get a yard. Like it was like,
Najee became like not exist, like a non-factor. Like they didn't
yeah.
even. No one
He
even
was better
like.
at the end of the year, but Jesus, for the first half of the year, he sucked. I mean, they were just not the offense was just so bad. So I like obviously he's a backup. So, but maybe he can come in and be maybe like 75, 80% of what Minshew was.
I would rather have gotten someone that fits the scheme better, like Tyler Huntley. Even though Tyler Huntley is not might not be better than Kenny Pickett, which I had no idea because he does not he didn't get this. I
Well, why doesn't Kenny Pickett fit the scheme? Kenny Pickett can run a little bit.
No, not like Tyler Huntley though.
But I mean, if we're looking at it, Kellen Moore, like he's not going to be
You're
running
not going to
like
run Jalen a lot, especially with his injury history. You're not going to run him a lot
yeah.
anymore. But you need a quarterback that is dual threat. Kenny Pickett is not dual threat because, for one, he's not any threat. He doesn't have a passing threat. He doesn't have a rushing threat. He's no threat. So at least Tyler Huntley, if he can't pass the ball that good, which last year he only played in like 4 or 5 games and he had 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, 200 yards. So nothing crazy, but like at least you can go in and you can have the RPO game that can be a threat because you have the Huntley Saquon RPO game that,
Yeah,
but that's not happening anymore because we got Kenny Pickett, Kenny Two Gloves, so little
Kenny
baby
Small
hands,
Hands.
yeah, little baby hands. So I don't know. I would give that move like a C minus just because we give up
Really?
we got a 4th round pick. That's fine, but we gave up a
Yes, it's like
third.
a third for a. It's a
We
third
moved
for
back 22 spots. So I
to
mean,
give up two sevens.
but the thing is, in that 3rd round, like this is one of the best drafts I've ever seen. Like, just complete talent wise. It is loaded with talent. The wide receiver talent, the linebacker talent, and I guess not really, not even the quarterback talent, because there's like 3, 4 good quarterbacks, and the rest are kind of like
But
mid.
like it's still pretty deep. Like there's
Yeah,
there's solid
but the
quarterbacks.
wide receiver talent, there's like 10, 12 wide receivers that can be good, that have potential. Linebackers, there's like 6, 7. Linemen, both ways, there's like it's just such a good draft that the first 3 rounds is going to be so crucial that, in my opinion, one of your 3rd round picks you should use on a linebacker, whether it's Trotter Jr. falls, Edgerrin Cooper, someone else, whether they're falling. I don't know if they'll fall that far, but or like someone like Cameron Kitchens from Miami who draft stock is tanked
Yeah.
completely. So I don't know. I feel like giving up a 3rd round pick was kind of crazy. If I were gonna give up a 3rd round pick, I would just include like a 4th or 5th round pick with it and go get Fields, which Fields is a starting caliber quarterback. And I know it was a big
But the
quarterback
thing is with
controversy.
Fields, I know you remember what happened with Wentz. I don't think that
I
hurts his
know.
Wentz in
No,
any way.
it's not it. That's
But
what Hurts is mentally strong, so it's
but
not
that would
going to
just I think
affect
that would
him.
just breed controversy. One game Hurts plays bad, and then WIP is like, should Justin Fields be the starting quarterback? I don't know.
I don't
I don't
think
I don't
at this point, I don't think Fields is even close to Hurts. And some people
I
might
don't think he is
disagree.
either.
He's not even in the same category. He's like a bottom 5 starting quarterback. He'll have flashes. He'll have flashes of like, oh my God, he had like 300 yards this game and like 3 touchdowns. And the next game he'll have like 80 passing yards and like 2 fumbles. So he's not consistent. He's way too inconsistent. Whereas he doesn't win. I know he doesn't have like a ton of playmakers, but he has Cole Kmet. He has DJ Moore. He had what's his name that just signed with Arizona, the number 2 wide receiver.
It's escaping me as well.
I forgot. I don't know how I'm blanking on his name. Um,
It's not Equanimous.
no, what's his name? I can't even find him.
Darnell
Darnell
Mooney.
Mooney. Darnell Mooney. Yep, Darnell Mooney.
Yeah,
Yeah. He had Mooney, who was honestly a good number 2.
yeah.
Like he had the weapons there, and his defense low key was good. Like they had a low key good defense at the
They could have made the
second
playoffs at the end of the year if they
second
didn't
half of
win.
the year. They were a top 5 defense.
Yeah,
So like people make a ton of excuses for him. I don't think he's personally that good, but
yeah.
I don't
I
think
don't
there'd be a
either, but I
controversy.
just
I
think
don't
it's
think there'd
better to
be a
bring.
controversy. I know that people are gonna be people love to start shit in Philly media. Like
Yeah,
nobody hates Philly media more than Philly players and Philly
yeah,
athletes. So yeah, there'd be a controversy probably by the media. It probably would never. I don't think I could see Sirianni benching Hurts.
yeah.
That's his guy. Like Hurts could have thrown him under the bus so many times last year, never did. But
Yeah. I mean, maybe. Um, but I just don't see them doing that.
no,
Um,
they never will. But
I really thought that Fields was gonna get traded for like a first,
I
honestly.
thought at worst early second, like 36
Yeah,
to 40.
like at worst. But at this point, I don't know
There's
where
no
he could
market for
go.
him. Like there's absolutely no market, and there's no team. The only team that I could think that could like get him possibly would be the Patriots. And
Yeah, like, but why?
they
And it's like, why would the Patriots do this?
yeah,
Like, they're
because
probably going to draft
they can
Jaden
just go
Daniels and
get
Drake May.
yeah, they can probably just go get Drake May or Jaden Daniels. But what I if I were them, the Patriots have what, three, right? Number three?
Yeah,
Why wouldn't you trade up to two? You might got to give up something big. Trade up to two, trade for Fields, like give up a second round pick for Fields, trade up to two, and draft Marvin Harrison.
you could draft Marvin Harrison at 3.
No, because Washington's probably going to take Marvin Harrison
At what? At 2?
at two.
No,
I don't think,
no.
dude, if you
They're drafting a quarterback.
Washington has to trade back because if you take Drake May or Jaden Daniels at number two,
I think those are two really good players, honestly.
I don't think they're going to be anything great. I think they're going to be like I think Drake May's ceiling, hot take, Andy Dalton. I
Whoa,
don't
oh
think Drake
man,
May is going to be good at
that's
all. He
crazy.
has bust written all over him. Same with Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels just
Jaden
I don't
Daniels, I think, has busted all of them just because the way he runs, he gets hit he
yeah.
gets hit worse than any quarterback I've ever seen.
He reminds me of like pre-injury Lamar, just like taking big hit after big hit after big hit. Like
I
in
don't
the
think
run,
he's
in the
good of
no,
a runner as
in the
Lamar.
run aspect of like taking hits, like
Yeah,
just will not go down, like go down, will not go
yeah,
down. So,
yeah,
yeah, I think Drake May has bust written all over him too. I don't believe it, and I'll look at Drake May.
yeah,
I,
yeah.
I,
We'll see. We'll see. I don't think that.
April 25th. We got a little bit more than a month, so it's gonna be it's gonna be fun to see like what teams move around, who picks who.
Yeah,
I hope Washington messes this up. I really do because it'd be so funny. They're so bad.
yeah.
Their front office is terrible. Like they're a mess. Um,
They have made a couple of good signings though. I think if
yeah,
they
but
draft
they're
the
all
right guy, they
old.
could be
Like
okay.
it's like 32-year-old Austin Eckler, Zach Ertz. Like
Yeah,
Frankie Louvu was a great signing. I wanted Frankie Louvu. That was a great
yeah,
signing by them.
yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know. Washington and New York like our little brother. Like I really don't.
Washington or New York's gonna suck,
New
but
York's
I
gonna be
think
terrible.
Washington could be okay.
If Washington makes the right move here, they could be like a seven seed, like
Yeah,
nine and
like
eight, getting the sneak into the playoffs, seven
I
seed.
think if they draft the right quarterback, obviously no one's going to be CJ Stroud, but if you're like half of what CJ Stroud was, like solid, they have a decent
Yeah,
roster. They have okay skill players. They got a bunch of guys in on defense. They could
bunch
be
of
okay.
young guys too.
So
All right, well, that was our NFL segment. So just gonna get right into the Sixers here, talk a little bit about recent play and what's up for the future with them. So,
all right, so we're going to talk some Sixers. They lost to the Bucks the other night. It was a tough loss. They actually looked pretty good.
yeah, refs.
Um, they shot really well. Paul Reed played really good defense on Giannis. What do you think, Johnny, that they gotta look better at? Like, what do
I'm
they
gonna
have to be
start
better
this
at?
off with do not let the box score fool you. Do not let the last 5 minutes of the fourth quarter fool any of you. Tobias Harris was terrible. He had like a 9 point stretch at the end of the game where everyone got fooled and everyone's like, oh my God, he's making these shots. He threw up a grenade, all right,
Yeah,
with
yeah.
1 second left, prayer, and then did this. Dude,
Can't believe you did that.
that was your second three of the game. You had one field goal in your the first two quarters of that game and the last four quarters of the previous game. You had one field goal made.
You're getting paid $100 million.
Getting
You're
paid
supposed to be doing that.
40 mil a year. $40 million a year. Now, granted, he played good at the end of the game. I don't care. I don't care. He sucks. He has no defense. I'm an assassin scorer. No, you're not, dude. No, you're not.
Dude, the thing is with Tobias that annoys me is the way that he plays defense. It feels like he bites at literally
Every single
everything.
thing. Every
He
single
bites
fake.
at everything. Any fake, he's jumping up in the air. He overhelps like
And
crazy.
that's dude, that was the thing in that game in the Bucks. I don't know if any of you watched it.
Yeah.
Anytime, any single person, it could be AJ Green, or isn't that his name, right? AJ Green?
Yes,
Yeah.
AJ Green.
It could be AJ Green. It could be Danilo Gallinari. Anytime, or Giannis. Anytime anyone would drive, whoever was on the corner guy, help. They would just collapse. And then Brook Lopez is the wing, wide open. Bobby Portis in the corner, wide open.
Brook
Jay
Lopez,
Crowder.
greatest player of all
Yeah,
time
bro,
running into Sixers. He's always going to be.
shooting from the friggin' the hash mark, dude.
Yeah,
He's like
he's
30
shooting
feet.
at the
I'm like,
logo, man.
holy shit. Jay Crowder making like corner threes in a row was still helping. So, I mean, granted, we played great. We should have been up a lot more than we were when we blew the
Yeah.
lead, but the refs just Maxi is the worst whistle in the NBA, not getting any calls.
Well, I mean, I know that obviously he should have got more calls, but the NBA is working on like I don't know if you saw this, like
Yeah,
they're
slowing the game
playing,
down.
yeah, slowing the game down and less fouls. So
I get
I like
that,
to hear
but
that, but also Maxi got hacked
when you're getting
multiple
absolutely
times.
hacked and thrown on the floor, like
Yeah.
you need to call that. And when like what pisses me off so much is the thing that actually got me up out of my chair and screaming was when they called the travel on Paul, or I forget, it was on Paul Reed when Giannis hit the ball out of his hand.
Yes, I do
Oh
remember
my
that.
gosh. Like the refs will do anything and everything to make sure that the Bucks do not lose to this team. And we've seen that over the past 3 games that we've played this team. Like we could be playing lights out, which we were. We were like 8 of 13 from three at one point. We shot 17 of
They
35 for
played,
the
yeah, they
game.
shot so good.
48% from three in that game, and we lost. So Maxi, another stellar performance, carrying the team. You know, he can
Yeah.
only do so much. Buddy Hield played fine. Cameron Payne played great.
I gotta tell
Uh,
you though, you know who I really, really like? I
who?
really like Kyle Lowry. I think that
He needs
Kyle
to stay in
Lowry
the starting lineup.
I think that he'll stay in the starting lineup when Embiid comes back. He's a tough watch sometimes when he's trying to score the ball,
Hmm.
but he just moves the ball so well.
He's like Batum, kind of, but like a guard
Yes,
version.
they're both winners, man. They move the ball, they play defense.
They're
They
selfless.
yeah, they're selfless. They don't care about what they get. They just want the team to win, and that's something I just want to see them with Embiid so bad.
Hmm.
I want to see those guys with Embiid so bad.
Because I know Mo Bamba's been starting recently, and I like that because we've been saying it sucks, but it's
Yeah.
better for the team because Paul Reed comes off the bench, and
Paul Reed, yes, Paul
Paul
Reed is
Reed's a
great coming off the
great
bench.
coming off the bench. Now it might suck because Mo Bamba's starting, which is
Yeah,
why I wanted to get Andre Drummond, but it helps so much more because Paul Reed's coming off the bench and giving you those
yeah,
energy minutes
yeah.
fresh. And
I do think though the last game he was playing so well. I think he should have played more minutes at the end of the
he
game.
played
I don't
24
like at the
minutes.
end of the
Like I
game.
don't know how it felt like he had a lot more than 3 points, but
Yeah,
his defense on Giannis, he gets in
great.
Giannis's head so much,
Yeah,
and I love it because
dude, the block on Giannis he had in the beginning of the
yeah,
game, awesome.
Giannis is the most fake humble player I've ever seen. He's the
He's
worst.
a
Like
psychopath, man.
he's
That guy's a
actually,
psychopath.
dude,
He's
he's the
crazy.
worst. I hate him. Like him and Tatum are like the most. I just hate him.
I hate
But
Tatum too.
like Embiid just got. I mean, he's coming back. He's gonna come back in the first second with April. He's coming back.
Yeah.
People like Ike Reese and everyone on 94 WIP. No knock
Oh
to you
man.
guys. No knock to you guys. But dude,
But
like,
saying
why should Embiid come back? Like, there's no point just sitting for the rest of the year. Why would you waste this year? Why?
exactly, this is
Maxi's
the best team
playing.
that they've had in
This
such
is
a
the
long
best
time.
depth, the best coach, the best Embiid's look. I get Embiid. It was hurt. He's coming back fully healthy, like healthy in the playoffs for the first time ever.
Yeah.
Like I don't think people don't understand. Embiid was averaging at one point. Embiid was averaging 35, 12, and 6. Holy dude. Like that is unstoppable. And I don't care who we play. We could play Boston. We could play Milwaukee. We could play Cleveland. I'm taking us over any of them with Embiid healthy.
Anybody.
Anybody. And especially if it's Milwaukee or Cleveland. If it's Cleveland, we might sweep them with Embiid because we just own Cleveland for some
He's
reason.
just so good. I think the thing is like they may not be great on their own without Embiid, but I think this team is so well built around Embiid because
Yes.
like especially with Batum, I think Lowry coming in, those
They
guys
would
are shooters.
benefit.
They don't yes,
The,
they don't need to be able to score off the bounce. And then you guys like if you don't start Bud, I think if Melton comes back healthy, they'll probably start him. Um and then
over
just
Lowry or
over Buddy
so what
because
you
you
run three
need
guard lineup with Toby and then
yeah, that's
push
true. But
Batum
then
to
you
the
can't.
bench?
Oh
I
yeah, they're
think
gonna
you
start
got
Tobias.
I
He's
think they're
probably
gonna
gonna be. Yeah,
I think it's gonna be the normal lineup. I think it's just gonna be if Melton ever comes back, it's gonna be Maxi, Melton, Toby, Batum, and B. That's the best net rating. That is like a
I
plus
hate the
24.
Batum. I wish they didn't start Tobias though. Oh
Yeah.
man, I wish they
Oh
wouldn't start
man.
Tobias. They're
Uh,
going to though. they're
You
going
know
to.
they're going to. Like,
Yeah.
it sucks because this team could be so much better with Lowry starting
Yeah.
over Toby.
But
But
the rotation, like the bench, having Buddy, Oubre, and Lowry coming off the bench, as well as Paul Reed, like that's a fantastic
Campaign's been
bench.
playing great too. So
Who?
campaign,
Oh yeah, Campaign can come in. He's like a microwave, man. If
yeah.
he's coming and he has it, he's great.
Now I like if I'm Nick Nurse and I'm giving no bias, like there's no bias. Like
Yeah,
I'm not playing people because they're like Toby because he's getting paid big money. Lowry, Maxi, Toby. No, that's Toby. Lowry, Maxi, Buddy, Batum, Embiid, because you have shooters
yeah,
around Embiid with Lowry. Every single person in the lineup can shoot the three good. Like Lowry's a known good 3-point shooter. Batum's a good catch and shoot. Buddy's a great one of the best 3-point shooters in the league, and Maxi's a great 3-point shooter. You
yeah.
don't have someone like Toby that can handicap and can't move off the ball
Yeah.
and that
The only
can't
thing is, like with
score.
Toby, is I feel like Toby's gonna be a little bit better. Hopefully,
When Embiid
when
comes back,
when Embiid comes back, we'll see
I
though.
agree,
But
but
we'll see. That's a big if.
I'd rather play Buddy off the ball than Toby because you can move Buddy around and he can shoot the ball from anywhere.
Yeah.
Whereas Toby is just going to pump fake and try to drive and
It
pass
is
out.
hard to say also because of defense if Buddy can
Yeah,
keep up
Buddy's
with
defense is kind
threes.
of kind of bad, but
Yeah, he's not a great defender, but at the same time, it's like it's either because you can't start Oubre when Embiid comes back.
no,
You
no,
cannot start
no, no,
Oubre.
no.
You cannot start
Whenever
Oubre.
you start me, it's like PTSD, like the Charlotte Hornets, Kelly Oubre.
Yeah, like he's good when he's like Paul Reed, man, like Paul Reed. So
Like, look, he started against Milwaukee, 4 of 13 with 9 points. He came off the bench against Memphis, New Orleans, and both New York games. 25, 20, 18, 19.
yeah.
And he shot, okay, I'm not going to talk about that, but 6 of 19.
He had
But
to, I mean, he had to take all those shots,
yeah,
honestly.
because I
Somebody
mean,
had to do it.
because Maxey was out too.
Yeah,
But
somebody had to do it.
yeah, I just think that this team has a lot of depth, especially when you bring back Embiid. And we've been saying this for months. Like with Embiid, this team is so good. The most depth that we've had ever. Like we actually have
Ever.
playable role players that can
Yeah,
come
like
off the bench
this is
in the
easily the
playoffs.
best
Yeah.
bench by
We're
far.
not running Dwight Howard and George Hill in the playoffs again.
Yeah.
Like we're not doing that.
Greg
Greg
Monroe, James
Monroe,
Ennis at six man. Like,
let's name some other backup big men. Boban coming on um Ursan Ilyasova, which was
yeah,
fine, but like
who's not a center though? That
but
guy's not a
not
center.
he's not a
He's a
center.
forward.
Um
Charles Bassey, who's okay. I don't know
he
why
was
they cut him,
fine.
but he's
They cut
another
him after like
guy.
20 games. I'm trying to think of the one backup center that we had in 20. Oh, DeAndre Jordan. Like
Oh my
DeAndre
God.
Jordan starting a playoff game against the Miami Heat in 2022 and Embiid got hurt. Like, come on, dude.
Worst player in the NBA.
Worst. Like
Worst
actually
player in the
terrible.
NBA.
But I think right now we're 36 and 30 and we're tied for the 8 seed.
They're gonna
Not
get stuck in the play-in though.
not where you want to be. You're gonna yeah, like I've been saying this, like we're gonna get the 7. I think we get 7. I think that Indiana drops down to 8. I think Miami goes up to 6.
Hey,
Um,
okay.
I think it's gonna finish Boston, Milwaukee, Cleveland. Actually, no. New York, Miami at 5, Orlando at 6, us at 7, Indy at 8. I think Indy's gonna drop down a little bit. Tyrese Halliburton hasn't been playing that good.
Yeah, he hasn't been playing great.
Um,
I mean, it's tough to say, but I
it's
think that
still
this
early
team,
because there's still 36 and 30. That's 66. There's still 16 games left.
but like if we
And
do look at the schedule moving forward, especially
oh,
the Sixers, man, like it
rough.
gets tough. I mean, they do play, obviously, they play the Hornets tonight,
This
but
schedule coming up is
yeah,
brutal.
Miami,
After
Phoenix,
tonight, it's
yeah,
yeah. Oh, no, you say you have it up. You have it up. I
yeah,
was gonna pull it up.
Miami, Phoenix, LA, the LA Lakers, then the Clippers, then the Kings, and the Clippers again, then the Cavs. That's one, two,
Wow,
three, four, five, six, seven. That could be seven straight losses. And then they play the Raptors, bit of a break. Then they play the Thunder and the Heat back to back. And then they should
that's
get three straight wins with the Grizzlies, Spurs, and Pistons. So what team are you eyeing up that you would say would be best for Embiid to come back to play?
um not Indy because we would get run off the court with Embiid.
He's gonna tear his meniscus again.
Yeah, that's I hate playing Indy because
Yeah.
we went to the me, you, and JJ went to the
Oh
Indy
yeah.
game, and it was just fast break after fast break after fast break. It's so annoying. Definitely not Miami. Definitely not Miami. That's the one team I don't want to play.
I mean, I feel like it's probably going to be a home game. Maybe the
Against like
Thunder on April
Orlando.
2nd.
Eyeing him to return.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I thought you meant like what team you want to play in the playoffs.
No, no, no. Aims
Okay,
aim to
okay.
return. Like,
Yeah, probably like the Spurs, probably the Pistons.
you think the last game? I feel like he needs a
He
couple more games.
he's gonna come back with like the fourth or fifth to like Grizzlies or Spurs.
Yeah, okay.
I think he's gonna come back that end of the first week of April and play like 4 games, 15, 20 minutes a game.
Yeah.
And then that playing game, he'll play like 35 minutes. We need to get a 7 or 8 seed. We cannot drop to 9. Like we
I don't think they
can't.
will drop to 9. I think it'll be crazy if they drop to 9.
Well, we just can't because then if you lose, you're out. Like it's one and done.
Yeah.
So, and you need to win 2 games to get in. You need to get that like 7, 8 seed where you only need one win to get in. And if we do get I want to stay at 7, 8 because I want to play Milwaukee. Like I will bet any person any amount of money that we beat Milwaukee in a playoff series
Yeah.
if Embiid is healthy for
I
every
agree.
game. I think we match up very good against them. So all right, we're gonna end with this. Who would you want to see in a playoff series for the play-in? Would it be Orlando, Pacers?
Orlando's at 5. I don't think Orlando's going to drop out, man. Orlando
They're
is such a
only
good
they're only
team.
2.5 games out though, with
I know they're
16.
out, but if I guess if I had to choose, honestly, I don't think I'd pick Orlando. Orlando's a great defensive
Okay.
team. I mean, if you had to pick somebody,
Orlando, Indy, Miami.
I mean, yeah, you know what? It's got to be Orlando.
It's probably got to be Orlando in that case.
I don't want to play Indy. I definitely don't want to play Indy. Like you said, I definitely don't want to play
Yeah.
Indy. I think Embiid would probably have 40 against Indy, but I think Indy
We would lose by like
could beat
20
us.
because they
Yeah.
would just run us off the court.
Yeah.
Don't want to play
I-
Miami because Miami is just like terrorist defense, like
yeah. Yeah.
three
They're
two
a tough
zone,
team.
three
And
two
Tyler
zone is
Hero's
gonna
probably gonna
kill
be tough.
us.
Yeah.
Like playoff Jimmy. So yeah, I think I'd rather play Orlando, but it's gonna be weird. We still have 16 games. Um, half a game out of the 6 spot, 2.5 out of the 5, 3 out of the 4, which we're not getting the 4.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it's gonna be weird. It's gonna be fun, tough. A lot of heartbreaking games are about to come up on this schedule. Won't be
Oh
surprised if
yeah.
I see us fall under 500 for a game or two.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Thank you all for watching. Sorry for our little hiatus. We're gonna be back. We're gonna be doing weekly podcasts
Yes, sir.
starting today. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Thanks for all the support, and we'll catch you next time on the Philly Dogs podcast. Hope you guys have a great day and a great weekend. Happy St. Patty's Day for all who celebrate.
Yes, sir.